Hello, everyone. Today is June 4th, 2024. This is the SIG release meeting. This is a meeting that will be recorded and available on the internet, so please be mindful of what you say and do. Please be sure to adhere to the Kubernetes Code of Conduct. And in general, just be awesome people. So we've got a few agenda items. If you do not have access to the agenda, I am just going to drop that in. Thank you, Marco. It is in the chat for folks who are just hopping in. Feel free to drop your name in the attendees list. And if you are interested in taking notes, we would deeply appreciate that. So feel free to volunteer in the note taker section here. If we have any new attendees that are interested in saying hi, and we would welcome that. Leave some time for that. So. Okay, no takers. That's cool. Welcome for anyone. Yeah, we're not currently sharing screen. I can though. Let me just clean up my screen. Let me know if you cannot see my screen. And also someone tell me if you can.
I can.
Okay, perfect. Okay. I will embiggen it a little bit. All right. So let's jump in. We're going to go into sub-project updates first, and we will kick off with release engineering.
Yeah, I left some notes there, so maybe I can go and present them. Patch releases, the general update is that patch releases for June are going out on Tuesday, June 11th, so 1 week from now. With that, the cherry pick deadline is on Friday, June 7th. So make sure that you get your cherry picks ready for review, and we will take a look at them. We started reviewing cherry picks thanks to Sasha and folks who took a look to the cherry picks so far, and we will continue reviewing them throughout this week. Another important thing is that Go security patch releases are going out today, and these patch releases are supposed to fix CV 2024-24790. And we will exactly see what exactly is that CV about, but given if everything goes out today, we should be able to include those updates in the June patch releases. As of action items and help wanted for release managers, there is a voluntary call to cut patch releases. We are looking for folks who are interested to do it this time. There is a link in the notes and to the thread in release manager Slack channel if you want to help. And that's it. Speaking of patch releases, are there any questions? Okay, I think that is a no. And OBS packages, we have some channel updates and some great of them. Nitish continued working on the OBS CLI project, and he created 2 PRs, one PR to add the example manifest that we discussed before, and another PR to add the command to reconcile the OBS manifest, which is pretty good. I will be taking a look this week and working with Nitish on that. On other side, we decided to prioritize making a proper pipeline for CRI tools and Kubernetes CNI packages, since we had some issues for Kubernetes 1.30 release, and we want to make sure that we don't run into that again, like for 1.31 or any other minor release. So we will be making a pipeline that's going to like automatically create a package, for example, when a new create tools package is created, and we will have something similar for Kubernetes CNI as well, but we need to figure out how is that exactly going to work. And that's it of the OBS packages. Anything about OBS packages? Any questions? Okay. As of supply chain security, I don't think there are any updates. Is anyone aware of anything new from supply chain security? I will also take that as a no. But as of artifact validations, we are in the process of choosing a mentee for the LFX mentorship. We will need to follow up on proposal for the new implementation and documentation for the existing implementation. And this is fairly critical because the mentorship program is starting on June 12th. This is next Wednesday. And the problem is that if you don't really have a proposal in place by then, it will be hard to give out tasks to the mentee that we choose. So we need to figure out exactly how are we going to handle that. I'm going to try to push folks as much as that makes sense, that this is possible, to remind them of this. I know that a lot of folks are busy, so it is making it particularly harder, but I hope that we will figure out something. And that's it as of the artifact validations and release engineering.
Cool. Thank you, Marco, for the updates. Any questions before we switch over to release team? Awesome. All right. Over to release team subproject.
Hello everyone. So yes, uh, mm, Alpha One is planned for today. Like release cut is planned for today, but we don't have a go signal yet. So I'm waiting for it. There are a few more blockers, and yes, it's almost like I'm in IST time zone, so it's almost the end of the day. So I will just start after a few hours as I woke up early next morning. So yes, that's all I wanted to share. Thank you.
That's good. Thank you.
I actually have to bring one thing to attention, that there is one more blocker. It is about OBS, because we don't have OBS projects yet, and trying to do release will result in failure because Krell will not be able to push packages. We need to create the packages for not the packages, yeah, the packages and projects for 131 in OBS. I can do that after the meeting, I think, but yeah, I will try. It is also getting late over here. I hope it is like not too much work. I will need to find the docs for that or the notes.
Do we have at this point, is it it sounds like it's not quite an OBS CLI command yet.
Yeah, it's not yet.
Okay, so if that's not currently on the roadmap for OBS CLI, we probably want to consider something like a OBS CLI release create or something, right?
Yeah, I
To
think that it
scaffold
is in
the.
this. Yeah, sorry for interrupting, but it is in the scope of the reconcile command that Nitish is working on. I'm not sure if it is yet implemented in SPR because I didn't have time to take a look, but it is supposed to handle exactly this scenario so that we can declaratively define projects, all projects that we use, and that's eventually going to create them in OBS platform. So like with everything configured and everything in place.
Okay, let's make sure that, I mean, for that command, that we explicitly define what reconcile means, because it's not immediately clear.
Yeah, sure.
Thanks. All right, any other questions on OBS packages, release schedule, timeline, the tool? All right, moving right along. So Jeremy, I believe this was your item on the open discussion.
Sorry, I was on mute and I was talking. Yeah, I think in February, we discussed whether we wanted to move to biweekly meetings, because I think we're kind of in between periods where there's not a lot of content to cover like every week. As we get closer to releases, that changes a little bit as we get into more work around some of the stuff like the LFX mentorship. Some of those might be better handled in those meetings rather than having this synchronous meeting every week. So I think we had proposed going to biweekly. The challenge, I think, for everyone is that we're in so many time zones that it's hard to pick one time that works for everybody all the time. So I think Sasha proposed that we keep the alternating time slots, but do that every 2 weeks. I think that's a little challenging for people to remember, just because it's spread out and it's like, is it this time, this every 2 weeks. So I'm generally pro going back to biweekly or going to biweekly. I don't have a strong preference on time. I think it's hard to accommodate everybody in Europe and everybody on the West Coast at the same time. So if we want to do the alternating times, we can try that for a little while to see how it goes. If we needed to go to just the early time, that would work for me personally, but I don't want to push my time preferences on everybody else.
That is usually the later time is usually a hotly conflicted.
Yeah.
In fact, I have a conflict right now on my schedule, so I'll note that. But I'll also say that I want to note that we have some history in munging the meetings and kind of moving the dates. We had the release engineering sub-project meeting, right, that basically lived in the same time slot and alternated weeks. And then we decided to combine those. We can combine that with the main meeting and just do the release engineering readout here. So I just want to note that for people who are going to vote on the times that part of the reason for initially kind of merging the meetings together is to make sure that we were bringing discussions to the same place, and then often we are, I think we've gotten to a point where, asynchronous communication and operations is working reasonably well, that we don't need as much synchronous time. So just bring that into your decision as you're considering a new time. I would also, note that alternating weeks and alternating times is super confusing. So we should choose one. I think alternating weeks would definitely find a reason.
Does anybody else? Oh, sorry, didn't mean to cut you off.
My
Mark,
two cents on that, it is confusing, but I don't know, like it is going to having everyone in the meeting sometimes is really valuable so that you can, discuss stuff and make some decisions, or if not make decisions, then at least discuss and bring it async. But like if you choose one time, there is a very high chance that we will not see some folks in a long time, like that it will be, because for example, like even this time slot is really bad for European folks, because it is usually for folks like work until like 5 or 6 p.m. and they have to drop off for all the stuff they have to handle. And we actually don't see in such time slot a lot of European folks. And it is the same problem if, for example, like it is 2 p.m., 2:30 UTC, we also don't see a lot of US folks. So altering is confusing, but at least a little bit in a while we get to see folks. Otherwise, we risk that we will never see them until, some event or something like that. So I honestly value that, at least face-to-face in Zoom. So I would be ready like to trade it off for a little bit of a confusion if we get to eventually meet folks. Otherwise, yeah, it can be hard, and yeah, that's
So
basically my 2 cents.
yeah, so I don't disagree with the seeing people is good component of it, but I just want to call out a few notes that one, the fact that we have fewer agenda topics um and reasons to have a full length meeting is not necessarily a bad thing. It's I think it's a proof point that a lot of the mechanisms that we've put in place to bias towards asynchronous communications and operations are working, right? And two, we should, I think meetings are great for discussions, and to maybe bring us towards decision points, but we should not necessarily be making decisions in meetings, right? Those the decisions on operations, the PRs that are listed and all of that stuff, that should be happening on like in a place that is documented, right? So especially for people who cannot make the meeting, you don't want to feel that a decision can only be made in the meeting or must be made in the meeting, that you need to miss. But yes, we will get a doodle going, and see what happens. Of course, we're going to try to accommodate as many people as possible with any meeting changes. And if alternating is the thing that ends up working, we will do that and eat some of the confusion in the sake of in the spirit of being able to meet every now and again. But let's see what happens. Doodle incoming. Thanks.
Does anybody want to take an action to set a doodle up and shoot it out to the mailing list?
Yeah, Jeremy, you and I can work on that. We may have some of the more conflicted schedules. So
Okay.
Yeah. And final item on open discussion. By the way, for folks that are interested in putting up more discussion items, since we are uh, uh, so time positive right now, we've got opportunities if you want to discuss other stuff. But the last current item that is on the agenda is, should we archive the meeting notes from 2023 like we did for previous years?
Yeah, that's for me. And that's pretty much a question because we have done it earlier. It improved the performance of this doc. It's not necessarily bad right now, but maybe to avoid like we have a bunch of items there, maybe we should just follow up and do it again. I want to see if folks like think we should keep with that practice or should we wait a little longer. I don't have strong opinions, but I just thought while looking at stuff.
I mean, at this point, we are very close to the middle of 2024. I would say that I'm fine with that. I think it's a great idea. And we've got the backlog of items already, of previous years already. I just want to see how cleaned up they are. Okay. All right. I can take this action to archive the notes.
Thank you.
Yep. All right, we have hit the bottom of our agenda. Not to call you out, but also to call you out since I don't often get to see you, Josh. I wanted to know if there was anything that you wanted to cover since you're in a bit.
Nope. Other than that, alternating meeting times might actually make me show up for this more often. Usually I have a conflict in this time because it's not just people in different time zones, right? Usually I have a conflict in this time slot and I can only attend when the conflict doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm not doing much these days except giving advice to the release team. So on ongoing people management.
That's how it goes. That's how it's been evolving the last few years. Yeah. But good to see you.
Yep.
All right, folks. I will give final opportunity for final discussion topics. All righty. Hearing no further topics, I say we call this meeting. Thank you everyone for taking the time today. Hope you have a wonderful week. For those of you who will be in Mountain View or or at one of the Kubernetes 10-year anniversary parties, hope to see you online. Hope you have a good time. Later.
Bye, everybody.
Bye bye.